Please comment and subscribe.
I am James Earl Jones, and yes, the character I voice in this is Admiral Halifax. Too much celebration for me would say, well, this is unusual. No, it's not unusual. It's as it should be. Family background. We have three different races, ethnics, and so I have no call to be bigoted about anybody. Therefore, it has released me of being bonded to anybody. I'm not jumping up and down about it because it is as it should be.
Look inside yourself, Simba.
If one's parents has not been a role model for him by the time he's 14, who can? Man, I thought, well, that's the way to play Big Daddy. He wouldn't want to change, you know. He wouldn't want to become proper. Like one of the early renditions of first black president, yes, in uh, Irving Wallace's novel, The Man. And I wish we had done that as a full movie story. One night I was on the stage, and suddenly this shadow was looming up in the bottom of my vision. And so I called the stage manager, and I couldn't go on that night. He said, "Don't even fly home. We should do it here." And I called my wife. She said, "Please, we'll take a chance. Come home." I'm not necessarily bonded to being black. I don't have to act out being black. I try to act out being who I feel I am. It was done as a TV special. Wow! Speaking of Canadians, my second had one, and I'm proud of that. I'm proud of all my bloods. The first words, you know, and I didn't know what I was crying about, and that was okay because I kept crying, and I kept reading and kept crying, and I hadn't even gotten to my character yet. So by the time I got to my character, I was taken by the story. It didn't matter what my character was. And that's kind of what the whole event was about. It was to tell a story. And everybody, I think, joined it for a very similar reason. He lives by those words. No, I wasn't. I guess fine though. I mean, it's like I'm surrounded by two cameras, and I try to forget it, you know. I joined it, of course, to work with Kevin and Bert. No, I'm still passing, I think. No, my childhood was sustained and also curtailed very early. What we achieved was a doting father with a very dopey grin on his face. The dopey grin is mine. And I'd like to someday. I just come to New York out of the Army, and I saw this stage piece. And no dirty words, not like, you know, we're allowed to now. Yeah, I couldn't say the F word. In terms of losing innocence, losing imagination, facing reality. What reality are we being asked to face? The fact that life is hard, well, that's reality we knew from the beginning, you know. But as a child, being the son of two parents who could not handle the depression, and therefore let me be adopted by my grandparents, that was a blessing. Went to a wonderful Canadian doctor, and he said we should treat it now. We should treat it tomorrow. And grandparents who were farmers. That was one wonderful reality. And it gave me enough reality about what sex is when you watch animals breed, what death is when you're participating in slaughter time, you know, for food. I can't imagine any better way to grow up than starting there in my childhood. And I always say, well, what I should have said, you know, and so I stay out of that arena. But and he was, I don't know whether he knew the part that was ending or not. I thought a part that would be there forever and wouldn't die, and I thought the Afrikaner was dropping an atom bomb first. You know, I really was despaired about that. And I'm a stutterer, and the instrument is impaired, and I'm happy that anything comes out with clarity. That's all. No, I think they cast us all because we had the tone of voice that they wanted. You know, it wasn't hesitancy about the role. It was about the whole story. I didn't know how, given the impatience of young black people in South Africa, and the extreme patience of the character, how they would accept it, you know, without calling it Uncle Tom or something like that. And I didn't want that to happen. And the announcing said, "We'll just wait until apartheid is over." Last spring, the script was sent to me, and I opened it and I started crying. Directed by Ruth. And with TV in those days, you truncated everything. You compressed everything, and That was unfortunate because they released it as a movie.
Well, I tried to reserve judgment. The first thing that hit me was the infrastructure that had been left there. That is, part of the legacy of the English and the Dutch. You're quite impressed by the architecture, the efficiency of the roads, and so on. All things which you can have with cheap labor easily.
They explained that would be used for the animator to do fine tuning on the character's face, or otherwise it would be just another generic lion. It looks like all other lions, instead of what they wanted was each lion looks like an individual. And why not the individual that's playing the voice acting? Bugged out on you. I started going blind. I had a detached retina. So I was driving across country with the CB radio, and I used Darth Vader as my handle. Freaked a lot of people out. When it got to the truck stop, it was kind of there was a buzz about it. Because I don't want to be self-conscious. I don't want to be self-conscious, especially when I stutter. But no, there was one camera I was aware of, though, and that was the one that was rolling to record the facial gestures and expressions of each actor reading a character. And when it comes to debating, it's embarrassing. I fall apart all the time. But has been sustained since. And there's been no strong dividing line. I think actors have that advantage. Artists in general have that advantage. I've never really wanted to quite grow up in that bad way. I could have brought the horse and the chickens and the pigs. Oh, sure. I didn't know that Charlton was doing this. This is CNBC until I was told. I don't have to act white. I know too little about the Native American, although I became a member of the Cherokee Honor Society. I saw Burl Ives do it. But it was a very particular choice he made. And not that he's trying to disguise his voice or any more than I do, but they're just choices you make. And I don't play with it. I'm lucky that it comes out enough to talk to you right now. I have no presumptions or no arrogance about my voice. One would think that I might even be in love with my voice. I'm not, because it would be the most unfaithful lover I've ever had, because it fails me often. And then we just go ahead and work as best we could to realize the dialogue, to realize the characters' relationships and so on. But he was right, and Mandela was right, and Mandela walks out with a gentleness. He could have been storming out like the Black Pimpernel, which was his legend, but he came out gently. So this film, in a way, is a celebration of that gentleness.